Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Crime Dawg Podcast with your host and content creator, Johnny FIORICA, who claims he is a working man, but his hands are softer than 10 kittens. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Folks, welcome back to the Crime Dawg Podcast. Your host, Johnny FIORICA, sitting alongside me, my trusted co-host. He is a legendary street cop. He's a undercover cop. He is a SWAT team member and a SWAT cop, homicide detective, David Simpson. Welcome to the pod tonight, brother.
Happy to be here. Let's go Rangers.
Go Rags, man. Listen, so we were talking about the Scottie Scheffler incident that happened in Louisville, Kentucky during the PGA Valhalla incident. And here's the thing. We chose not to talk about it when it first came out because, you know, unlike everybody else, we're like, hang on, let's get the facts first. Let's get the facts. Well, thank God we did, right? Because I'm going to spit some facts at you in a couple seconds. And but thank God we waited, you know?
Yeah, I think it was May 17th that this popped off. And, you know, I couldn't tell you how many people ran up to me and were like, what's your take on that? What's your take on that? I'm like,
yeah.
Let's slow it down. Mm-hmm. Let's wait for the video, wait for the body cam or lack thereof. Yeah. Let's get all the information. But yeah, I think that's why you don't rush to judgment. I think we need to get all the information we can, and then we'll have a take on it.
Yeah, we definitely have a take tonight because what do we say? What do we say from the beginning, Dave? We said we shoot it down the middle, right? Common sense has arrived. That's our tagline. We shoot it down the middle. We told everybody, you know, that has listened to our pod, and we're now 20, 21 episodes in. We said, hey, listen, there's going to be a time when our brother and sister officers are not going to do everything right. Sometimes those incidents need to be addressed. This is one of those incidents. We have to address it. So we're going to talk about the Scottie Scheffler incident. Here's the facts of the case, folks. World's number one golfer, Scottie Scheffler. He was arrested by Louisville, Kentucky PD, the Metro PD, on May 17, 2024 in the early morning hours. He was driving to the entrance of the PGA Valhalla golf club for the PGA Championship that weekend. Traffic outside the golf course had been stopped, and the reason why, unfortunately, there was a man that was struck and killed by a shuttle bus around 5 a.m. So that was kind of like the hubbub before the incident with Scottie. So there's a detective. His name's Brian Gillis. He's with the Louisville Metro Police Department, and he was directing traffic at Gate 1. So according to the police report, according to Gillis's report, what the Louisville, Kentucky police reported was that Scheffler, in an attempt to bypass the traffic, pulled into the westbound lane where Detective Gillis was stationed, and he was in full uniform with his reflective high visibility vest and jacket. Gillis said that he stopped Scheffler, attempted to give him instructions, but Scheffler refused to comply, accelerated forward, dragged him to the ground. According to the report, Detective Gillis suffered pain, swelling, abrasions to his left wrist and knee. He was transported to the hospital for further medical treatment by medical personnel. This said the value of his ripped pants were $80, and we all know police uniforms don't cost that much. Well, they do. They inflate the price, but they're horrible. Anyways, Scheffler was later booked. He was arrested. He was booked, and he returned to play at the golf course. Scottie had said that he had been proceeding as directed by the cops, which is prior to him meeting Detective Gillis. And he was saying that he proceeded at the direction of the other Louisville cops that were on scene. He said it was a misunderstanding, and he said he thought he was being asked to do what he was supposed to do. Here's what ends up happening. Scheffler is facing charges: second-degree assault of a police officer, third-degree criminal mischief, reckless driving, disregarding traffic signals of an officer directing traffic. And apparently the assault charge, which in New York State, just like it is all over the country in most places, it's a felony. The others are misdemeanors. Today, the reason why we're doing the pod today is because in the last couple of days, Dave and I have been talking, and we thought that, holy cow, this second video, David, that arose that we saw that didn't show what the officer had alleged on his report, which is a problem. That's problem number one. I will say, full disclaimer, though, the angle of that second video that arose there's like a bus or something that's in the way, and I don't see what happened as Officer Gillis or Detective Gillis was running up to the car. That's my only disclaimer. I don't know what happened before that, but it doesn't seem like, I don't know. I'm not going to say what I don't know, but it was weird, David. This whole thing.
I'm going to say it. I think the assault second part of it is weak as hell. Like, that's my first problem. I mean, if as a detective, if I'm charging someone with an assault second on a police officer, I respect that charge. I think it has to hold weight. And I don't want to send assault second on a police officers over to the district attorney's office that don't have merit.
Yeah.
And they're weak. And just based on the video that I saw and what was alleged in the report, it doesn't, one, match up, and two, I think it's a pretty weak assault second on a police officer. So the felony charge is a reach based on what I've saw. And again, some of the things that went on in the video, it's a chaotic scene. I think you can see that there's a lot going on. It's sun's not up yet. You can see where some confusion might arise. We've all been out there directing traffic. You're not in the best communication with other officers down the line, so to speak. So I don't know what information he got from a police officer further up the road before he got to Detective Gillis. But the assault second charge, I think, was a reach. I wouldn't be surprised at all if is bounced.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions in just the actions of Gillis. It looked like he was kind of ran up on the car. Also, it looked like he kind of hit the window at one point when he approached the vehicle. We've all been in these situations where we might get agitated by someone not listening to our commands. We might, we're all human. You get frustrated, you get angry. That's when you need other officers and senior officers to kind of pull you aside and come up to you and talk you off the ledge a little bit while Scottie's sitting in the back of the police car, and you kind of go over what you got and where you're going from here. And sometimes you need cooler heads and some people to intervene and kind of get it right. And it just seems in this, it didn't really happen. It seems like, especially the assault second's a stretch, but I question whether this couldn't, based on what I've seen, been handled with a stern verbal warning and kind of going about your business. I really question why, because clearly they knew this was the number one golfer in the world by the time. They clearly knew he was trying to get into the club right there. All reports are that Scottie Scheffler's a stand-up, straight aces guy. I think it could have been handled much better and probably squashed right at the scene. But that's, again, a retired cop's take here in Rochester.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, too. Let's just at the end of the day, with these events, and I mean, you're a golfer. You've been to these events. I live right down the street from where a PG event happened at Oak Hill. And I see these marked PGA vehicles, okay? These golfers are given marked PGA vehicles. I mean, this wasn't like Jim Smith firing through the police barricade, saying, hey, I got to get into the golf course. This, you could tell it was a marked PGA car, number one. Number two, I understand you had chaotic scenes, but at the end of the day, when you have chaotic scenes, we all have bad days. Like you said, we need our brothers and sister officers to put us in check. But this is a PGA event. Now, I know Louisville is literally one of the most violent cities. I tip my cap to my brothers and sisters in Louisville because I know it's one of the most violent cities. I know when I was on the ATF task force, we targeted dudes from Kentucky and Western Kentucky, and Louisville is a very dangerous place for our brother and sister officers. However, that being said, you know what event you're working, okay?
Rep Valhalla.
You're at a premier, prestigious golf club directing traffic. Now, I understand that unfortunately a guy was killed and maybe your emotions were high because things were chaotic, whatever. As a cop, you need to check your emotions. We all have bad days. I'm not saying that Detective Gillis didn't have a bad day, but as soon as his brother and sister officers saw him pounding on Scottie Scheffler's window with what looked like his flashlight or his hand or whatever, I mean, you got to dial it back a notch. Come on. I mean, that's uncalled for. You know, like I said, this wasn't in the gut. This wasn't in the ghetto of Louisville, right? And this guy wasn't driving through a murder scene. This is a prestigious golf course at an event with a marked PGA car. You kind of got to have a little common sense there, you know? Here's the other thing. First of all, there was no body-worn cameras to this day. I mean, if they're out there, they haven't showed them. Louisville
he had it. He didn't turn it on.
Right. But I'm saying there's no body-worn video available. There's no BWC cameras available. Here's the other problem. From Jump Street, when Detective Gillis in Louisville was saying, hey, this is what happened to our officer, right? Because this is what Gillis was telling him. You had 3 ESPN reporters that were out there. One of them being this guy, what's his name? Jeff Darlington, some Emmy Award winner, which I don't put stock in that anyways, but he's an Emmy Award winning journalist for ESPN, who Darlington from the beginning was saying, no, this is not how it happened. The cop looked like he attached himself to Scottie's car. It looked like he was, because if you look at the video, the second video that got released like a day or two ago, I mean, you could tell that Gillis was jacked up. He's way up here, right? He's at level 10. He's code black pretty much. Reaching in the car. I mean, there's a shit ton of officer safety issues. You know, if he didn't know who Scottie was, and he thought like this guy, I mean, whatever Detective Gillis was thinking, you know, he rolled down the window. Scottie was probably ordering him to turn off the car, but he leans in the car, reaches in, looks like he's trying to rip the keys out of the car. Then he opens up the door himself. And then from Scottie coming out of the car, from our experience, our training and experience, his body did not look like a no person at all. I mean, he was like, I'll get out of the car.
He looked confused, honestly. His body language looked like he was confused.
This is a horrible look. This is a horrible look. And I'll even say again, disclaimer from my side at the beginning. I don't know what happened prior because that bus was in the way. I don't know what happened prior, but regardless of what happened prior, the level that Gillis was at was a no-no. He should not have been at that level. And that's not safe for him. That's not safe for the community. That's not safe for Scottie Scheffler. That's not safe for anybody. But when you're jacked like that, reaching in a car, ripping out keys, I mean, at a PGA event, I mean, come on, man.
You're not at one point like you got the reporters saying that's Scottie Scheffler, dude. That's the #1 golfer in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. You got Scottie Scheffler giving you identify himself, right? And you still decide, you know what? Screw it. We're going to go the whole way with this.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, no one's going, give me a 30-second timeout. Let's regroup. Let's regroup and rethink this and think, let's play chess, not checkers.
Yeah.
Let's think about what we got and where we're going and how this is going to play out and what really happened. And let's make an assessment. That didn't happen and that needed to happen. And I don't know supervisors. I don't know who's in charge. But all I'm saying is it should never have got to the point it is based on what I've seen.
You know, David, you talk about responsible journalism, and everyone knows I fanboy this guy, but Pat McAfee, man, this guy, I think he just hits home runs every single time. McAfee, in my opinion, is a sports guru, and he's also very competent and cognizant. And he also talks about common sense, which is our tagline to our podcast. But check out what Pat McAfee had to say, folks.
There are some cops that aren't necessarily by the book. There are some cops who potentially have an axe to grind with society because of how things worked out for them before they became a cop. Not all cops. We're not saying that. People say like, fuck cops. And it's like, we have friends that are cops that legitimately are just looking to help society. Like that is what they sign up for. It is an incredibly dangerous job. Even the most easy, convenient looking traffic stop can turn into a war zone. And hopefully with Scottie Scheffler being the #1 golfer in the world, it can bring even more spotlight on it. And hopefully in the future, cops like this are a little bit more scared to do this because they're going to get publicly killed like this guy is going to get, I would assume.
Listen, everyone asks our opinion, and so I'm going to give my opinion. If it was me walking in those shoes, this would have been me. I would have had two choices. I would have either given him a verbal warning once I found out who it was and where he was going and what he was doing. I would have given him either a verbal warning.
Yeah.
At the worst, I would have written him 2 or 3 traffic tickets. If I was so worked up that I needed not that he was going to care, but I needed to inconvenience him or put him through the motions, write him a couple of movers.
Yeah.
You didn't have to lock the guy up and charge him with a felony and take him to jail. That's where it gets. There was so many levels of where discretions could have been used here, and it wasn't. I personally would have issued Scottie Scheffler a verbal warning. I would have ripped him a new one verbally, shook his hand and said, hit him straight, pay more attention, blah, blah, blah. But if I did do something, I would have wrote him a couple movers. But I think we went way past that when we got him in handcuffs going to jail.
Yeah, well, when you're beating on his window with what appears to be your flashlight nightstick or the end of your fist, I think you've escalated it to the point where common sense is not arrived and discretion's out the window. And I think that's a huge no-no, you know. Anyways, well, David.
How many windows have you broken with your hand, by the way? Car windows. It's not that easy.
It's not easy at all. Yeah, I've broken 0.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, the thing is we felt that we had a comment on this because just like we've had, we're not going to go over it again, but we had an incident in our town about a month ago that happened that we felt that we had a comment on. This is one of those ones we definitely had a comment on because he's one of our brother officers, you know, and I don't want anything to happen to Gillis. You know, we all have shitty days. We all have bad days.
We all make bad decisions.
We all make bad decisions. I just hope that these guys learn from it. I really do, because the support staff that was there for Gillis, you know, that's a problem too. We talked about it. I'm not going to get into it again, but you gotta tone down your brother and sister officers. I'm not perfect. I was never perfect. There was times when there was days I had shitty days. I was jacked up, but I had guys, and I surrounded myself with guys that would grab me and be like, "Hey, I got this. Step over there.
Take a walk.
Like take a walk. Take a walk. I got this." And that's a change your channel moment for a cop, because your brother, sister officers that love you to death grab you, and when they look you in the face and they say, "Hey, take a walk. We got this," you know something's going on that you're not seeing because you're so jacked up. And at the end of the day, that's what Gillis's brother and sister officers should have done out there. "Hey, we got this, Gillis." You know, they didn't do that.
Yeah, I've had it done to me a million times. You've done it for me a million times. So, you know, when I was on the job. So you're 100% right. And, you know, that I'll end it with, look out for your brothers and sisters out there. If, you know, they're a little heightened, rub their shoulders and whisper in their ear. Sometimes it makes it all better.
It does make it all better. We've all been there. Listen, man, nothing but love for our brother and sister officers, whether it's in Louisville, Kentucky, whether they do great things or do things that are not so great. We love all our brothers and sisters all over the country. We promised you guys from the beginning we'd shoot it down the middle. We'd be remiss, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, if we didn't discuss this. Scottie Scheffler, hats off to you, my brother. You are the #1 golfer in the world. Hopefully you can get past this. Hopefully nothing comes of it on either side, and everybody moves on. Folks, that's mine and David's 2 cents about the Scottie Scheffler PGA incident. We appreciate you listening to this podcast. Tune in for future episodes on our YouTube channel, which is at Crime Dawg Podcast. Check us out on our website, which is thecrimedawgpodcast.com, and listen to all of our future episodes. We hope you stick with us. But like my brother-in-law Frankie Grassi says, if you can't make it, who cares?